Growing up watching cartoons like Spider-Man and Batman as a Gen Zer will make you feel special, mainly because you've discovered that these were the types some of your older relatives watched. But what you probably don't know is that there are cartoons that beat anything and anyone you know. Funnily, you've probably never heard of them. Whether you're a boomer looking to relive some childhood favorites, or Gen Z trying to see what all the fuss was about, let's walk you through some classic cartoons that boomers grew up with. Shows that Gen Z likely has no idea ever existed. Let's start with Huckleberry Hound. This cartoon was about a bright blue dog that had a southern drawl and a kind heart. He wore a little red bow tie and a straw hat. However, what truly makes this cartoon special is the dog's ability to take on different roles. He tried a different job in each episode, and although things sometimes went wrong, Huckleberry remained hopeful. He was always still calm and friendly, singing his favorite song, "Oh My Darling Clementine." Hanna-Barbera created Huckleberry, and it was one of the big deals when you're talking about cartoons on TV in the late 1950s. Unlike what many of us watched and enjoyed growing up, there were no cartoon channels back then. Kids always looked forward to Saturday morning cartoons, and Huckleberry Hound was one of the shows that made it worth the wait. It was from this same Huckleberry Hound that many people got to know about Yogi Bear, who became so popular that he had his own series. But Huck stayed cool with his slow voice, clever ideas, and big heart. He wasn't loud or wild, he was always committed to doing his best, and he never gave up. Although the animation was simple, the kids loved it. Parents liked it too because it had gentle humor and wasn't too crazy. Huckleberry Hound was even the first cartoon to win an Emmy Award. That was a big deal. Today, most Gen Z kids have never heard of him, but without Huckleberry Hound, we might not have had all the amazing cartoons that came later. He was a true cartoon pioneer with a soft voice and a brave spirit. And just the worthy next one is The Flintstones. The Flintstones was one of the first cartoon shows made for adults and kids to watch together. It started in 1960 and was set in a funny version of the Stone Age. The show followed a family named the Flintstones. Fred was the loud and goofy dad, Wilma was the smart and kind mom, and they had a baby named Pebbles. Their best friends were the Rubbles, who lived next door. Everything in their world was made from stone or animals. Their car had no engine. They used their feet to make it go. Their dishwasher was a little dinosaur that licked the plates clean. Even their alarm clock was a bird that screamed to wake them up. Fred worked at a rock quarry and always got into silly problems. He loved bowling and yelling "yabba dabba doo" when he was excited. Barney Rubble, his best friend, was always by his side for adventures. The Flintstones was the first cartoon to air during prime time on television. That means it came on at night, just like real shows for grown-ups. It was a big hit and ran for 6 seasons. It even had its own cereal and toys. Most Gen Z kids may not know the Flintstones, but their theme song remains famous. Many people can sing the first line. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. The show was funny, clever, and way ahead of its time. Speaking about something that was way ahead of its time, we have the next cartoon that perfectly represents that, Top Cat. Do you remember Talking Tom? A game where you interact with the daily life of a cat. Top Cat was just like that game, but in a cooler sense. Top Cat was a smooth-talking yellow cat who lived in a back alley in the city. His ability to talk made him the leader of a group of cats. They all loved to hear his ideas. Even when his ideas didn't always work out, everyone called him TC for short. Top Cat and his friends were just ordinary cats living inside garbage cans and boxes, but they always acted as if they were the rulers of the neighborhood. Top Cat's best friends were Benny the Ball, a small and sweet cat, and Choo Choo, who was tall and nervous. Fancy, Spook, and Brain completed the list of Top Cat's friends. Officer Dibble cared for these cats and tried to make sure they were out of trouble. Whenever Top Cat wants to pull a funny move, he is always there to stop him. Honestly, he got angry at Top Cat on several occasions, but it was all because he loved Top Cat so much. Top Cat was first produced in 1961, but it was short-lived, lasting only a single season. However, it became so popular in reruns that the producers continued to create new episodes. The characters had charm, and the jokes were fast and funny. While kids today may have never heard of Top Cat, he was once one of the coolest cartoon characters on TV. He was like the Spidey and Mickey Mouse of today. He acted like a king, always trying to turn nothing into something with charm and a little mischief. Next up is Casper the Friendly Ghost. This ghost was different from the other ghosts you've heard of. Ghosts are usually scary, but Casper was a ghost who was just trying to make new friends. He was small, white, and round with a big smile and kind eyes. He wanted to play and be nice. Casper's first appearance on screen was in the 1940s, before it disappeared briefly. It made its return when Casper got his own TV show in the 1950s. He was always looking for someone to play with in each, but many were scared of the ghost. They'd run once they saw him coming, and that made him sad. Still, Casper never gave up. He remained kind no matter what. He lived in a spooky mansion with other ghosts who enjoyed scaring people. Other ghosts mock him for being too soft, but this didn't affect him at all. Casper saw kindness as a more powerful tool than fear. Sometimes Casper would help those in trouble. He would save lost kids, stop bullies, or fix a problem without ever asking for anything in return. Many times people didn't realize he was a ghost until the end. Once they did, they were surprised that a ghost could be so good. Casper showed that being different is not a bad thing. He had a gentle heart and taught kids that kindness matters more than fear. We would have an incomplete list if we didn't talk about Jonny Quest. Jonny Quest wasn't like the funny and silly cartoons you're familiar with. Instead of it just being about jokes and laughs, it was a little more serious. It was more about action, science, and adventure. The show was about the life of brilliant and brave Jonny, who traveled all over the world with his dad, Dr. Benton Quest, a scientist. They discovered lost cities, visited secret labs, and even sometimes found themselves on dangerous islands. Jonny had to learn to solve mysteries quickly. He had a best friend named Haji who came from India and could do cool tricks. When bad guys came around, their bodyguard was strong and always ready to fight them. They also had a cute dog named Bandit, who often got into trouble, but also saved the day on occasion. The show first came out in 1964, and it was totally different from other cartoons. It used more realistic drawings and had dramatic music and sound effects. There were laser guns, robots, mummies, and secret agents. It was like a cartoon spy movie for kids. Jonny Quest was one of the first shows to mix science fiction with real-world danger. It was exciting and sometimes even a little scary. Parents liked it too because it was smart and full of adventure. Most kids today have never seen Jonny Quest, but it inspired many shows that came after, just like the next one did too, which is Rocky and Bullwinkle. Rocky and Bullwinkle were the wackiest and smartest cartoons ever made. It starred two best friends, Rocky, a flying squirrel with goggles, and Bullwinkle, a lovable but dim moose. They were always getting into crazy misadventures while trying to stop bumbling villains. The main villains were Boris and Natasha, two sneaky spies with funny accents. They always came up with silly schemes but never succeeded. Rocky and Bullwinkle somehow saved the day, even when they had no idea how to do so. The show had many little parts besides the main story. There were funny cartoons like Fractured Fairy Tales, which retold old stories in silly ways, and Peabody's Improbable History, where a super intelligent dog named Mr. Peabody and a boy named Sherman traveled through time. The animation was simple and sometimes off, but the jokes were clever and full of puns. The writers added smart humor that even grown-ups enjoyed. They made fun of politics, TV shows, and history. but in a way that kids could still laugh at too. Rocky and Bullwinkle first aired in 1959 and became a big hit. It was unlike anything else on TV. Most Gen Z kids have never watched it, but it helped shape cartoons into something more than just slapstick. It showed that a cartoon could be silly and smart at the same time. Rocky and Bullwinkle were weird, brave, and unforgettable.